Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 2, Book 23, number 372. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet passed by a woman who was weeping beside a grave. He told her to fear Allah and be patient. She said to him, "Go away, for you have not been afflicted with a calamity like mine." And she did not recognize him. Then she was informed that he was the Prophet. So she went to the house of the Prophet, and there she did not find any guard. Then she said to him, "I did not recognize you." He said, "Verily, the patience is at the first stroke of a calamity." Volume 2, Book 23, number 373. Narrated by Usama bin Zaid. The daughter of the Prophet, P.B. U.H., sent a messenger to the Prophet requesting him to come as her child was dying, or was gasping. But the Prophet returned the messenger and told him to convey his greeting to her and say, "Whatever Allah takes is for him, and whatever he gives is for him. And everything with him has a limited fixed term in this world. And so she should be patient and hope for Allah's reward." She again sent for him, swearing that he should come. The Prophet got up, and so did Sa'd bin Ubadah, Mu'ah bin Jabal, Ubay bin Kabi, Zaid bin Thabit, and some other men. The child was brought to Allah's apostle while his breath was disturbed in his chest. The sub-narrator thinks that Usama added, as if it was a leather water skin, on that the eyes of the Prophet, P.B. U.H., started shedding tears. Sa'd said, "O Allah's apostle, what is this?" He replied, "It is mercy which Allah has lodged in the hearts of his slaves, and Allah is merciful only to those of his slaves who are merciful to others." Volume 2, Book 23, number 374. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. We were in the funeral procession of one of the daughters of the Prophet, and he was sitting by the side of the grave. I saw his eyes shedding tears. He said, "Is there anyone among you who did not have sexual relations with his wife last night?" Abu Talha replied in the affirmative. And so the Prophet told him to get down in the grave. And so he got down in her grave. Volume 2, Book 23, number 375. Narrated by Abdullah bin Ubaydullah bin Abi Mulaika. One of the daughters of Uthman died at Mecca. We went to attend her funeral procession. Ibn Umar and Ibn Abbas were also present. I sat in between him, or said, I sat beside one of them. Then a man came and sat beside me. Abdullah bin Umar said to Amr bin Uthman, "Will you not prohibit crying, as Allah's apostle has said, the dead person is tortured by the crying of his relatives?" Ibn Abbas said, "Umar used to say so." Then he added, narrating, "I accompanied Umar on a journey from Mecca till we reached Al-Baida. There he saw some travelers in the shade of a samura, a kind of forest tree. He said to me, 'Go and see who those travelers are.' So I went and saw that one of them was Suhaib. I told this to Umar, who then asked me to call him. So I went back to Suhaib and said to him, 'Depart and follow the chief of the faithful believers.' Later, when Umar was stabbed, Suhaib came in weeping and saying, 'O my brother, O my friend.' On this, Umar said to him, 'O Suhaib, are you weeping for me?' While the Prophet said, 'The dead person is punished by some of the weeping of his relatives.'" Ibn Abbas added, "When Umar died, I told all this to Aisha, and she said, 'May Allah be merciful to Umar. By Allah, Allah's apostle did not say that a believer is punished by the weeping of his relatives. But he said, Allah increases the punishment of a non-believer because of the weeping of his relatives." Aisha further added, the Quran is sufficient for you. To clear up this point, as Allah has stated, no burdened soul will bear another's burden. 35.18. Ibn Abbas then said, only Allah makes one laugh or cry. Ibn Umar did not say anything after that. Volume 2, Book 23, number 376. Narrated by Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. Once Allah's apostle passed by the grave of a Jewess whose relatives were weeping over her. He said, they are weeping over her and she is being tortured in her grave. Volume 2, Book 23, number 377. Narrated by Abu Burda, that his father said, when Umar was stabbed, Suhaib started crying, "O my brother." Umar said, don't you know that the Prophet said, the deceased is tortured for the weeping of the living? Volume 2, Book 23, number 378. Narrated by Al-Mughira, I heard the Prophet saying, ascribing false things to me is not like ascribing false things to anyone else. Whosoever tells a lie against me intentionally, then surely let him occupy his seat in hellfire. I heard the Prophet saying, the deceased who is wailed over is tortured for that wailing. Volume 2, Book 23, number 379. Narrated by Ibn Umar from his father. The Prophet said, the deceased is tortured in his grave for the wailing done over him. Volume 2, Book 23, number 380. Narrated by Shubar, the deceased is tortured for the wailing of the living ones over him. Volume 2, Book 23, number 381. Narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. On the day of the Battle of Uhud, my father was brought and he had been mayhemed and was placed in front of Allah's apostle and a sheet was over him. I went intending to uncover my father, but my people forbade me. Again I wanted to uncover him, but my people forbade me. Allah's apostle gave his order and he was shifted away. At that time he heard the voice of a crying woman and asked, who is this? They said, it is the daughter or the sister of Amra. He said, why does she weep? Or let her stop weeping. For the angels had been shading him with their wings till he, i.e. the body of the martyr, was shifted away. Volume 2, Book 23, number 382. Narrated by Abdullah. The Prophet said, he who slaps his cheeks, tears his clothes and follows the ways and traditions of the days of ignorance is not one of us.